license will expire tomorrow. Well, yeah, I know. It should just pay automatically. Get off the screen.
That works really well until you have fraud on your account, and then you have to change your card, and then therefore all of a sudden 20 bills that you mean to pay didn't get paid.
Not speaking from experience, are you?
Nope, not at all.
Just a hypothetical.
Just
just a scenario that could suck,
Yeah. Just if I was doing a little thought experiment.
Yes.
Let's just say while we're at it, no.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. You guys ready to do this thing? I feel like we're going to have a lot of games to talk about, so we get cracking.
Yep.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, the show where we talk about which ship we're going to in Phantasy Star Online 2. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpear.
Hello.
And the Nymph.
Ship 2.
That's right, Ship 2 for life.
I literally don't know what you guys are talking about, just so you know.
Just stare.
Just say Ship 2.
Okay. Ship 1?
Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Get all the cool behind the scenes and early access stuff. There's if you're curious about where I am at in my watching of about the 15,000 episodes of the Arrowverse that are out, you can go check in our weekly update in the Outcast. Patreon.com/E1M1. Moonpear, back from vacation.
Yes, my staycation, where I literally didn't leave the house as long as humanly possible.
That sounds like a dream. What did you play on your lengthy vacation?
A whole bunch of garbage.
All right.
Basically.
Let's dive in.
Okay, well, I mean, don't write these down, Boston. But okay. I played Qbot, I played Wondersong, which is on Game Pass, which seems really interesting, but seems way too long.
I've always wanted to play Wondersong. That looks cool.
It's got a really interesting design scheme and really interesting controls and stuff like that, but my word, just no. I'm not
in the mood for it.
Yeah, I'm not going to put 26,000 hours into it just because, it's a cool story. So I cheated and I beat the game, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Mina in chat says, "Yay for garbage." That's right.
Yeah. You should look at my gamer tag sometime, Mina, and see just how garbage can get. Speaking of garbage, Fallout Shelter. Hey. I have one achievement left in Fallout Shelter. One.
The impossible one.
The Get 20 Legendary Dwellers achievement, which I probably talked about on this show like 2 years ago.
We've talked about it a lot because when I started playing the PS4 version, that version doesn't have a trophy for that, and you were mad.
I hate you,
I know.
Number one.
I didn't get the platinum, so you don't
number two, it's crossplay. I may have uploaded my save to my PC, and then I may have jumped into the save file, and I may have given myself 999 lunchboxes.
Perfect.
Because it's the only way to get the Legendary Dwellers is to grind the missions to get lunchboxes, or pay for lunchboxes, or edit a save file to get lunchboxes.
And it's not even like, oh, I just cheated my way and I gave myself the 1,000 points. It's like, I just have the one. I just either I play for hundreds of hours, or I just finish. I just free myself.
6 days and 6 hours is my total playtime on this game so far.
Wow.
On a mobile game about building a base.
With no screen sharing thing, so it's not like the mobile version where I have it running while I'm playing another game.
This isn't, snap threes and watch a TV show at the same time.
Right.
This is literally just that game running. And I got to 70% the correct way. And I don't care. I'm done. Just whatever. Okay, Momonga Pinball Adventures.
Oh, okay.
Is this a JRPG pinball game?
I was gonna say,
No. This is very much, speaking of mobile games, It feels like a mobile game, but I will say thank you, Boston, by the way, for the pre-show of Moon has played a bunch of games that nobody has heard of joke.
Right.
Because my Twitter feed has just been a blast with started, finished, and started, finished.
Yep.
Literally, I can't. I think it's Monomanga, but I'm not sure. But it's like a flying squirrel pinball game. It's really cute. It really feels like it's designed for kids.
What's the subtitle on this?
Pinball Adventures. Yeah. Okay. You guys look it up and then tell me how you say the first word.
Momonga. Momonga? Momonga. I've seen this before because this looks super cute.
It is, and it is genuinely super cute. It's basically, if you are interested in pinball and have younglings around who you'd like to be interested in pinball,
yep,
possibly a good Kung Fu Panda style introduction to pinball for them.
Nice.
Because the first name of the game title is actually a species of flying squirrel, Japanese flying squirrel.
Aha.
Who are ridiculously cute because I googled them. And the pinball game is pretty good. It's not great. It's not, terrible. It's slap bang average, but I'm pretty sure my wife paid 79 cents for it, so it's no big, stress on the wallet for it. It's okay. It has like 20 levels, and there may or may not be an achievement for playing 500 levels.
Whoa.
Wow.
Momonga, no.
Yeah. But there is 45 challenges in the game, 5 per level, essentially. And, you kind of get close to that 500 just trying to, get the challenges done.
Sure. Apologies to anyone that can hear the yard work going on across my mic. Apparently,
literally can't hear it.
Apparently, it raining doesn't mean they need to stop. Good times.
Sounds like your usual Sundays, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Momonga, no.
Yes. Whatever that thing is, it's really good. Don't go after all the achievements. It's not worth it because you end up doing what I do, and that grinding noise you may have heard was my wife coming home.
I thought you were hearing Yokozuna Express in the background saying, "Come play me."
Yes. If you're going to play a pinball game, Yoku's Island might be a good step after this because this is just pure pinball, whereas Yoku's got like the Metroidvania-esque stuff to it.
And a surprisingly good story.
Mm-hmm. Very much like that as well. Pinball Adventures, I'm not going to continue saying the first name, is a very Green Sky kind of game.
Mm.
Spoiler alert, the game ends in a cliffhanger.
Okay. I was not expecting that.
There is no sequel so far.
I thought I saw that there was
At least not on my platform of choice.
I just typed in Momonga 3, and that's not a thing.
But yeah, I mean, we got it cheap. It's dumb. It's kind of fun. It's just me being that stupid brainworm problem of this doesn't have 100% next to it, so you must continue playing it.
Hold on, sorry. For some reason, Fortnite sent me an alert on my phone and it said, Chad the Dad 34 invited you to come party. And it's like, excuse me.
Was that Fortnite? Or was that Grindr?
I don't know, they have similar icons.
Yeah, true.
Chad, please, I'm married.
Like that ever mattered. I mean, come on. They have similar audiences too.
Come on, it's Fortnite. Play with anyone.
Anyway, moving on. I don't want to talk about Wondersong. I don't want to talk about Qbot. My friend Pedro.
Oh, yeah.
Came out to Game Pass recently, and I installed it the day it did and didn't play it until this week. Yo, that game is insane.
Yeah.
You remember the trailers and how cool and insane it looked?
Mm-hmm.
It's cool and insane.
So playing it is actually like that?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because my only real complaint with My Friend Pedro, to give it its full title, My Friend Pedro, Blood, Bullets, Bananas.
Fantastic.
Which is funny, because I'm pretty sure it's under M in my A to Z, but when you load it, it just says Pedro.
Nice.
Like on the actual install file, it just says
Right.
Pedro. Like, okay, sure, whatever. It feels like a. I'm trying to think of like comparative games where it's like a level based, like Super Meat Boy is a good example. Like Super Meat Boy was all about how quickly can you do this level and run, go, splat off the walls.
And it's one distinct level. It's not an open world. And
It's very much like that, except you are shooting people and doing spins through the air and all kinds of other stuff at the same time.
Doing the bananas will.
Yes.
Yeah.
The controls are fiddly. Which is a little disappointing because they have the whole aim in two different directions thing.
Right.
And the way you do that is you look one way, hold left trigger, then look the other way to aim it in two different directions, which is all fine until Chaos and Anarchy hits and you're trying to do a bullet dodge at the same time as doing that and somehow getting through the levels. It's really good in concept, but I don't know if the controls sit just quite right. I mean, it's ambitious as hell. I love the style. It feels like you were playing a floaty version of The Matrix.
Right. And it's going to be one of those cool, like, awesome games done quick, where it's like, I'm going to play through my friend Pedro in 20 minutes. And it's like, how are they doing this? Like, how are you shooting 4 people at once? That's insane.
Yeah, there is a speedrun timer on the screen.
Great.
There is scores, so there is a challenge your friends leaderboard style thing to this too.
I love it.
There is a whole bunch of difficulty levels.
Okay.
And there is rankings all the way up to S. So it's one of those kind of games.
Yeah.
It's really fun to play though, and really stupid. Like genuinely stupid because you're being guided along your redemption arc, whatever it is, by a banana.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And you do front flips, and you hang off cranes, and you're hanging upside down, doing like the guns akimbo, pow pow pow, pew 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 thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm only a little bit into it right now. I'm looking forward to getting further, but at the same time, it's just like the controls are just sticking a little bit with me, like not in a good way. I'm hoping that playing it more and getting more, refined with my controls will help. But at the same time, I've also got like 390 other games to play, so I don't really want to not play anything else and only play this.
Yeah.
Although speaking of not playing anything else and only playing this, I started The Surge.
Oh.
After
Sweet.
6 years of waiting to play this game because we bought it who knows when.
We talked about sequel brainworms where it's like, well, I know The Surge 2 just came out, but I never played the first one, so let's dive into that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would I play the new NIMP?
The new
game, isometric, top-down RPG. Your kind of game. Comes out like this week or last week.
Pillars of Eternia.
Thank you. Why would I play that without going back and playing Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Baldur's Gate 2, Pillars of Eternia 1 and 2, and everything else? It's that kind.
You're doing exactly what I'm doing, where Pillars of Eternia came out, and then they're like, oh, hey, after a year I beat it. They're like, oh, now we're re-releasing all this. I'm like,
yep.
Okay.
It's that brainworm. It's that exact problem. But yeah, so this is the Dark Souls-esque game by the same people who did, I think they did Lords of the Fallen first, which was a more traditional Dark Souls copy.
Right.
The thing that always stuck out to me with The Surge was it took the Dark Souls formula and took it to future. So it's like whole cyberpunk, not the game, the style, dystopian future where
post-apocalyptic.
It's kind of, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just this particular
you
base.
You don't really know.
Kind of but you're a dude who can't walk, and then they basically
bolt an exoskeleton to you.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the best way to phrase the attaching part.
So
without you being
sedated.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. Okay.
It was supposed to sedate you, and then it errors out, and then it just continues on.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a very graphic intro video.
Yeah.
Yep. Also cool because you're in a wheelchair at the beginning of the game, so
Okay.
you can't go up the stairs, you can't go down the stairs. Like, it's a cool concept. It feels a lot more forgiving than the Dark Souls games, to be completely honest. Like, I don't know if that's just because of the way the loot system works, which I think Nim might have mentioned himself when he was playing it, but the combat doesn't feel as 10 sheets to the wind as Dark Souls does, where Dark Souls is like, if you are not pixel perfect, you will die.
Yeah, like you have to mean what you're doing.
Yes, whereas this feels a lot more forgiving in the fact that I can whiff an attack or two and still be okay.
Okay.
They've got a pretty good cancel dodge where the dodge literally cancels out of everything that you're doing, and you're just like, nope, back up. I missed that, back up. Back up. Give me that little Autobot booster thing going backwards. It's like, it's like, cool.
Right.
Okay. I got that. That's great.
Have you gone against the first main boss yet?
I just transitioned to Area 3.
Okay.
So I've beaten the giant cannon gun thing that blows up on the front of it. I've beaten that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I got his weapon, which is my weapon of choice so far. Speaking of swords that could make Cloud jealous, it's ridiculous. It's
just the sword from Berserk.
I've never seen or read Berserk, so possibly.
But yeah, it is.
Okay.
I've beaten him. I beat the fire boss. The fire boss actually took me a couple of tries. The garbage incinerator dude.
Yeah.
Because he flies a lot, and it's really annoying trying to hit him while he's in the air.
So he's just the Fury.
Sure.
You haven't played Metal Gear either?
Yeah, from MGS3, remember?
Which one's the Fury?
He's the one in the spacesuit who sets the whole room on fire.
God.
The one everyone forgets.
The one after the ladder.
Yeah, because you beat him in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. It's a good call. Actually, he's very much similar to that.
Yeah.
But no, the game is cool. I mean, the loot system is incredible. I love the whole make the game as difficult as you want, because if you want certain pieces of armor, you have to destroy them on people, but hitting them in the section that they're armored in makes them harder to kill. So you'll see a dude and he's not wearing chest armor, but he's got arm armor on and leg armor on. If you hit him in the chest, because he's unarmored, he will die in a couple of hits. Mm-hmm. However, if you hit him in the arm, he will drop components that allow you to craft that arm armor.
So you're knocking off the parts you want.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
So it's a really interesting give and take, because I got in the second world. My biggest complaint with the Surge is the thing that Dark Souls does, I think, better than probably everything that's ever existed, including the Castlevania and Metroidvania games. It does that loop so well, where you go out into the wild, you're exploring this huge area, and at the end of the area, you open a gate, and there is the starting bonfire.
Yeah, you get all the shortcuts.
How the hell did I get back here from that direction? And because all of the areas are so unique, it's real easy to know what you're heading back to. So it's head through that gate, and that takes me to the Green Forest, so I know that that's the back end to this area.
Right.
If I head through that gate, there's this big, huge valley, and then there's a dragon sleeping over there, so that takes me to the other area. Mm-hmm. The thing that this does the same thing, where you start at an area, and as you're looping around the level, you'll unlock shortcuts back to the upgrade station, essentially.
Okay.
The problem is, a lot of them are just doors and corridors. It's which section takes me back to the furthest point I am in the level?
You need something like Control, where it's this way is the way to the mailroom. This is the way to the cafeteria.
No, he needs a map.
Yes. 1,000%.
Biggest complaints with most Dark Souls types games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because especially with this one, it's like he was saying, it's either you're in this corridor or that corridor, or you're in Junkyard A, or you're in Junkyard F.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. It's really difficult to see. I mean, I think that's why Dark Souls kind of gets away with it, because each area is so uniquely graphically represented in the biome that it's in. See, but you laugh, but I said biome and you knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest downside with it. but everything else is like so good. Like, I love the way it looks. I love the way it moves. It moves a little quicker than Dark Souls does, so that's fine by me. You have like giant robot legs, so you can literally sprint and slide around at your will. It's
I love it.
cool as hell.
Well, I liked how you could add your armor, like how you have a core battery that you're upgrading, so that way you can keep adding different armaments to you, or different abilities, or whatever.
Smart.
Yeah, so essentially your soul level in this game, or whatever it is
like your character
how
level.
much. Yeah, it's how much battery your core has, which allows it to power the parts that you attach to it. So, like, when you first start, you're lucky if you can attach an arm and a leg.
Right.
And then by leveling up, you increase your maximum capacity on the energy, and then you can equip 2 arms, 2 legs, a chest piece, a head piece, and then you can get armor sets and armor set bonuses that do different things. And thank goodness that I discovered the I don't know what it's called, the weird green suit, which protects you from poison, because there is an area that's pure poison, and if you don't get this suit of armor from the guys who live there, then you get poisoned.
Right.
But by getting that suit of armor, it protects you from that environmental damage. But the problem I ran into is, like, I got so lost during this whole process where it's like, I've ran through this area like 15 times. There's the shortcut back. I'm going to remember that. Stand up, make myself a cup of tea, sit back down. Forgot which way to go.
Whoops, I'm lost.
Like, just because it's literally so similar in all of the different paths.
Right.
So then I ended up with so many parts, because you need to get like Mark 1 parts for your first set of armor, Mark 2 for the second upgrade, Mark 3 for the third upgrade, so on and so forth. There's different weapon types too, and there's weapon proficiencies and things like that too. But I got so many Mark 2 parts for every single piece of armor that I could possibly need. I was just like, you know what? From now on, I'm just going to hit you in your squishiest bit. I just want to kill you all as quick as I possibly can to try and figure out how to get out the level. It has meant that I'm maybe slightly over-leveled than where I need to be right now, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
I just got into the 3rd zone of what looks like 6 based on the map, which is the zone region thing. I mean, it's an interesting story so far. Again, I love the way the game looks, and I think it's got a 4K HDR update on the X as well.
Ooh, nice.
So it looks supreme. I cannot wait until New Game Plus so I can go and mess with those harvester machines, because there's an area in the first level where if you see it, you can see a path through some poison area, and if you walk through that and walk through this bush, there is this giant harvester, like mining harvester looking thing, and it breathes on you and you die. It's like it
gets angry really fast too.
Yeah, it's like level 2 million.
Yeah, and it does that whole 360 attack because it's got an arm with a thing on the front of it and it just spins around. Just like, I'm gonna walk away slowly
Sorry
from you.
for bothering you, sir.
Come back later.
It's one of those things where you round a corner and you see it and you're like, there is no way I'm meant to fight this thing right now.
Yep. And then, out of curiosity, I may or may not have just poked it a little bit with my sword.
Right.
It may or may not have done literally 1 damage. So I ran the hell away.
I like you did the friend or foe test, where it's like, are you dead? Nope, I'm dead. Okay.
Yep, pretty much. And this stupid little flying thing that shoots you while you're doing it too.
Of course.
It's really annoying. But I'm enjoying it. It's like, why didn't I play this sooner? Oh, that's right, because I have too many games. Speaking of too many games, Dead by Friday. Quick shout out for Jason, Rob, and Justin. I remembered his name this week, so I'm really proud of that.
Justin or Jason?
I hate you all.
That's a trick
much.
question. Wait a minute.
I hate you for mentioning that, and I hate the guys for literally calling me out on remembering it when I remembered his name.
Thank you for listening.
Yes. I hate you all so much. But yes, Dead by Friday, it was fun. Come and play. It doesn't have to be a Friday, by the way, folks. Like, if you happen to see me on and it's a Tuesday, I'm fine with playing the game then too, because I enjoy that game a lot. But my final game this week is possibly the most important game of all time ever. Please, I'm sorry,
so excited.
Audio listeners, These guys' heads snapped to attention the second I said that.
Because I don't know what it is. I need to know.
Dude, it's Apex Legends. Come on.
Oh,
this is where the disappointment starts.
Yeah.
I want to hear about the season 4. Season 4.
Oh yeah, I'm not disappointed to hear you talk about it. I'm just disappointed that you didn't have something cool to talk about.
Elite Dangerous. I was kidding.
But yes, season 4 started. The new guy comes out. I can't remember his name. Boston. What's the new guy's name, please? Thank you.
Well, hey, I knew something. Yeah.
It's because you watch trailers and I don't.
I haven't watched any trailers. I just, for some reason, it's the thing where it's like the new season in anything where everyone's talking about, all right, here's how the map has changed, which I don't remember. Here's the new character. His name is Revenant. He does all this stuff. And I saw one of my favorite streamers is Ammunition. I like watching her play Rainbow Siege 6.
I know exactly what you're going to talk about, and it's so great.
She's really great, and then I saw that short video clip of her getting freaked out because Revenant just ran right at the screen, which was really good.
Yeah. So when you select your characters, they have idle animations. So like Octane's the guy with robot legs who blew his legs off in the Titanfall 2 thing. That's his whole backstory. Right. When he's on the screen, he will like jog backwards and forwards really quickly because he's like super hyperactive, and then he'll just hop around on one leg, take off the other leg, and start wrenching the one of his legs, and then put it back on.
Okay.
Mirage, who is the hologram guy, he'll just randomly have his other hologram pop out, and he'll do like magic tricks where he vanishes his pistol and stuff like that. The Revenant, literally, he paces backwards and forwards the entirety of the screen.
Menacingly, yeah.
Yes. And then just randomly, he will just turn towards the camera and sprint at the camera and do his weird death protection thing where he becomes like this black, fiery version of himself. And it's just like, dude, I get it. And apparently, like, Ammunition was just waiting and he ran to the screen and she literally lost it. So
yeah.
It's very much an Abby Russell response for those Giant Bomb fans out there.
Gotta go.
Yeah, the Revenant. AKA the biggest debug that ever existed in Apex Legends.
Cool.
Caustic is kind of the emo boy of Apex, where his whole thing is, like, one of his win lines is so many willing test subjects because he likes poison gas and he wants to murder everybody. But he's always had this scientific curiosity about him.
Okay.
The Revenant is just an assassin.
Okay.
When you ping stuff, everybody has a whole bunch of lines, and if you ever playing Apex, if you ever playing Apex Legends, folks, do yourself a favor and ping lava whenever you can.
It's really good
because it's absolutely hilarious, especially Mirage's. Actually, Mirage's lines for everything are pretty solid, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But ping lava, it's hilarious what people say, and like you'll get people like, you know, you ping somewhere and Octane's line is, oh, that place looks cool, let's go there. And, you know, Mirage is like, this is interesting, let's go over there. Revenant's lines is, go here.
That's good.
Do this.
Right.
I need to become kill leader, we are going here. Not questions, literal orders to everybody.
That's pretty good.
If you dib something, like someone pings something, you need it, so you dib it, and then it stays on your screen so you can go and get it when you're free. His responses are, that's mine. Okay. Don't touch it. And so on and so forth.
Don't touch it is really good.
He's really, really, like, edgelord about the whole thing, but in a very dark way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much. And his new abilities are, he's got a mute grenade. Well, number one, he crouch walks real quick. So if you're crouching and walking, he moves pretty quickly. His normal special is a silence grenade, which he throws, and then people who are caught in that blast, they can't use their abilities.
Oh, interesting.
And his super is death protection, where he drops a totem. If you touch the totem, you are protected from death for a certain amount of time. You can't regenerate your shields while you're in that state. And when you die or get knocked down, you basically get teleported back to the totem with full shields and no health. So
oh wow, okay.
You can get put down real quick, but it's Sometimes that's the difference.
Yeah, you get a second chance, sort of.
Yes, exactly. And everybody can use it, including people who are not in your party.
Oh, okay.
Which we didn't realize until somebody used mine against me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's a super overpowered thing, but you kind of need to hide it well, just so that other people don't come up and touch your totem and, you know, get the goodness for themselves. The season pass rewards seem really cool so far. Everyone's getting new animations for their flight down in. And Caustic, he's the poison gas guy. He drops gas bombs on the floor as like his specialty, like basically proximity mines full of gas. His new taunt animation is him riding it like a bomb.
That's really great.
Just keep getting better.
Yep.
My wife has an issue with it because she feels like it snaps back to the animation a bit too quick, back to the flying thing a bit too quick, so she has issues with it. Octane's, he's the speedy guy. He takes like 9 selfies of himself, like spin around, selfie stick, spin around, selfie stick, spin around, selfie stick.
That's great.
They seem to be doing pretty solid with that and with the charms and stuff. And the map itself has been split in 2 by a planet harvester.
That's cool.
So there is a giant lava field throughout half of the map that if you jump into, it acts like a wind vane and sends you flying back up while doing damage. Of course.
Interesting. Like Mario 64.
Yes, very much like Mario 64. I hate you so much. It's cool. The new map's cool. They've got all of the challenges and stuff like that. My favorite thing that happened though, because I played a lot of this with my wife and we're sitting there and we're giving each other crap as we always do.
Yeah.
2 favorite moments. My wife is trying to shoot down a cargo bot, which is one of the things on the new map, which is a loot box basically in the air that you can shoot down, and depending on what color it is, when you shoot it down, you get that color loot.
Oh, okay.
So my wife is chasing down one of them, shoots it down, and gets it gets purple. Like, so it's pretty good, but not the best. In the meantime, M has found like gold armor, gold backpack, gold barrel stabilizer.
She'd opened up Fort Knox over there.
Yeah, and her response was, "Oh, did you have a good time chasing down your cargo bot?" It's like, really?
How dare you?
Really?
No,
kind of mean. But like, I think the next day we were giving each other crap, and I was Revenant, and Em was in the middle of saying something, so I literally just turned around and fired my grenade thing at her, and literally Revenant just goes, "Shut up!" And everybody just burst out laughing because he literally shouted "shut up" while she was in the middle of trying to be a smartass.
Right.
Like, chef's kiss. Thank you, Revenant, for the perfect voice sample at the perfect time. I mean, it's Apex. It's cool. I will continue to play this. We did play with community member Slick Nick, not Slick Nip.
Nice.
Slick Nick.
Yeah.
He jumped in. He played a little bit of PlayStation 4. Hasn't played a lot of it, but he jumped in. We had a couple of rounds. Pretty sure we were champion too. So
hey, nice.
You're welcome, Nick. But yeah, again, same rule as Dead by Daylight. You see me on, you see me free with a free space or something, and you want to play, send me a message. Let me know. We'll jump in and play. Usually, as long as we're not busy with pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
But that's all I've been playing. So over to Mr. Two-time Nimp.
So, I've only really played 2 games this week. The first one is Atelier Ryza. I've done a lot more alchemy funness. I made a hammer, so now I can get to different areas of the map. And now I'm able to get different materials.
Is that like a world-based ability, like cut in the Pokemon games, where it's like, now I can cut down these trees, like now I can smash these rocks and stuff like that?
Yeah, there was, on a specific map, there were these boulders that I had to knock down with this hammer so that I can keep going on. Because it'll tell you, hey, you've explored 4 out of 5 areas in this area.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. So yeah, once I finally figured out how to make the hammer, because I had the materials, I just didn't have the right quantity or whatever, and then I couldn't remember where I got half the crap from, because as I run through a map, I just pick up everything, so I don't remember where it all came from. So I built the hammer, was able to get into a new area. I was able to build a bug net, so now I'm running around catching butterflies and stuff.
Oh, man.
And then the suspicious empty lot that was next to my house, for story reasons, has been turned into a small farm. Oh, so nice. Now I can plant stuff there to be able to harvest specific plants. Right. That way I don't have to go out into the world to try to find them again.
Better than what happened in Yakuza 0.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. This is kind of just turned into my main game of I just run around, grab stuff, try to figure out how recipes work, and try to figure out why I can't make a thing that I need.
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah.
My final game, which I spent all of my time playing, was Phantasy Star Online 2, the closed beta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a bunch of that.
Yeah. I had to rip, and I mean rip, the two J's, J. Jonah Jameson, Jason Justin Jameson, away from the PSO2 beta to come and play Dead by Friday. That's how much people are obsessed with this thing.
Yeah. The Friday night launch did not go very well.
Yep.
No, thankfully they fixed it pretty quickly. Like they got on Twitter and Reddit, and everyone was like, "All right, rocky launch. We're having some problems. We're working on it right now. We're gonna get it fixed as soon as we can." Like their response time was really fast.
Yeah. So I tried to log in for like an hour, kept getting to the character creation, kept getting halfway through the character creation before getting kicked out, and then the next time I logged in, had to restart the character creation. Yeah. So after about the third or fourth time, I was like, "Screw this! I'm just gonna go take a nap," because I kept my third shift schedule in the hopes that Friday night I could just stay up all night and play it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So ended up waking up at 2:45 Saturday morning. Servers were good to go. Like, sweet. So built my character, went with a bouncer, because it seemed like an interesting class to try, and it was one of the 3 new ones that weren't in the original games.
Yeah, I went with Summoner, because I thought that sounded cool. It sounded like I played a hunter in World of Warcraft. It sounded very similar to that.
Okay. And that was because I can remember a lot of time on the GameCube playing 1 and 2, so I know my way around a hunter. You know, I don't need to start that all over again.
Yeah,
so I wanted something new to try out.
The first one.
Yeah, which are still cool if you've never played before. It's just I wanted to see what the new stuff was. And out of the 24 hours that we had to play, I played about 15 hours.
You're all a bunch of monsters.
I didn't play nearly that much because I was busy this weekend, unfortunately.
Yeah, I kind of told my wife like a week ahead of time that the beta's this weekend, and it's just for Saturday. My part. Yeah, I need to play this.
Yeah.
So I got my bouncer up to level 30 as of last night before when the servers kicked me out.
Okay.
And it's Phantasy Star. I mean, it's how I remembered it playing. The controls are roughly the same, except for having to hit B to exit or to select things.
Yeah, it's like talk to people.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is this a whole X and circle thing from the old days all over again?
No, it's just
kind of.
The game kind of controls weird with a controller because it's expecting you, like when you have a menu on screen, in the upper right-hand corner of every menu is like the minimize, maximize, and red X button. So like it's still very much like, hey, this was on PC. So like when you go pick something out of your menu bar at the bottom where like dimates and trimates and your skills and stuff are to use them, you click in the left stick. Like so you're picking them left to right with your D-pad, and then to use them you click your left stick. To like talk to people and pick stuff up, you're using B, and A is to jump. So it's like they're making it work, but it's all kind of
it's
just
weird
a little
because B, yes, you use to talk to somebody, but if you're like, let's say you're picking up a client quest, all right, you hit B to talk to them. If you hit B again, that's cancel now.
Right, they're
because you're in the menu, so it backs you out if you hit B again. So you have to start hitting A.
Yeah.
So and the other weird thing was during the character creator, everything was reversed. You hit up on the left stick, you're going down.
Like you're looking at the top of your character's head now. It's just like, my god.
Yeah, the X and Y were both completely reversed. So you're sitting there trying to mess with those controllers. So, because I was making a female character, because if I get the choice, play as a female character,
Yeah, me
because
too.
every other game that we have in the world is mostly a male character.
Yep.
You know,
A white dude.
Yeah. So it doesn't help that I'm sitting here fumbling with these controls, trying to figure out, okay, how do I get back to looking at her head because I'm messing with her hair?
Right.
Every time my wife would come in, the camera is zoomed in at her chest, and I'm like, I can't figure this out.
Well, when a mommy PSO character and a daddy PSO character like each other very much.
Right. PSO2 is born.
But I mean, there was a lot of cool stuff going on there. Well, this isn't really cool, but you could watch the Sonic trailer in there on your ship.
The Sonic movie trailer is playing all over the ship.
Yeah.
I do have to say, if you've never played a PSO game before, the tutorial is actually really good. It's not super long, but it teaches you all this stuff about, like, hey, here's how to jump, but most importantly, here's what your attacks do, here's what your class does. Also important for someone who's hearing Nimp and I talk about classes, every character can play as every class. So at any point, you can just switch your class and just play as another class. So you're not, this character is a warrior, this character is a so-and-so. You don't have to do any of that.
Yeah. And you eventually end up, because you start out with like 3 weapon menus where you can set up your attacks and all. Yeah. And you very quickly, I think it's once you hit level 10, you can upgrade it so that you get 6 of them, which is the max. So, which that encompasses all the classes, because there's only 6 classes right now. I don't know if there's more in the Japanese version or not. But
well, in this version we have everything. Feature parity. Sorry, to the Japanese version.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know how. I was gonna say I didn't know how far along they went with it. So
yeah.
But anyway, so a lot of the other cool stuff that they had you do, besides the Sonic trailer constantly playing, there was no sound. It was just anytime you looked at one of the big monitors, it was just the whole trailer looping.
I don't want to hear "Gotta Go Fast" like 50,000 times.
Yeah, no. Thankfully, there's no sound, which is
you just see it.
Yeah.
But the other cool thing was whenever an urgent mission would happen in the game, the ship would basically go into red alert mode.
Yep.
Where any window that could look outside or any TV that was in the area would all of a sudden have the red emergency thing pop up and cover it.
Yep.
So you knew something was going on, which was cool because I was in, this first time it happened, I was in the shopping district. All of a sudden it got dark and I was looking around and this big massive window that you could look outside of the ship to see the town and all that, which is nothing but red bricks that all said emergency on them.
It's super
and then
cool.
that's when the little thing kicks in for the server saying, hey, there's an emergency mission that just popped up. Why don't you go try it? Yeah, and I did.
Go fight a giant death tank.
Yeah, the first one I didn't go so well. We didn't finish it. We started out, these have like 12 people raids in them basically. And we started out with 12. By the time we got to the second portion of the fight, there was maybe 6 of us.
Oh, bummer.
Is that people dropping or people dying?
People dropping. Because when you die, you just go back into the gate ship and you can just drop back down and warp back in.
Yeah.
So there doesn't really seem to be a penalty to dying in the middle of a mission either. Besides having to start back from the start point.
Yeah, I think you have to do like a short corpse run, but it's not even like, great, here's a 20-minute run I gotta do. It's sort of like, hey, you just gotta dive off your ship again. Get back in there.
Here's my corpse, which accidentally fell off the side of the ship while traveling from one side of the planet to the other.
Right.
But yeah, so my first urgent mission didn't go well at all. Yeah. We got our butts handed to us. But the second one that I did was the big tank one that Boston was talking about, which was really cool because it is a massive tank that has all these turrets on it, and you have to climb on it, and up on top is the actual boss that you're supposed to be fighting.
Yeah.
And you have to bust off, his arms, the turrets that are on him, and then his chest piece opens, and he's got a massive cannon that you got to take out.
It's really cool.
Sweet. Playing as a bouncer, I realized if you put it in Monster Hunter terms, it's like having the insect glaive, where it's all about juggling and just staying up in the air. Because as you're attacking your, they call it PP, but basically your magic points, because I think it's like, photon points?
I think so, yeah.
So is what it stands for?
Just the menu has it as PP, and it's like...
Yeah. Yeah, the little 6-year-old in you. Yeah. But basically, every time you hit something, it fills up your bar faster.
Yeah.
It recharges that faster. So I can just stay up in the air almost infinitely as long as I'm hitting something and keep, spamming my specials and all that. So that's pretty much what I did for that boss, because I was the only one that was really attacking its head, because I was the only one that could get up that high.
Right.
So it was pretty sweet. I upgraded my mag to level 40.
I will need you to use the correct terminology when we are talking about mags, please.
Yeah, I fed my mag to level 40.
Yes. I didn't feed my mag that much because we're gonna be able to carry over our characters to the final version, but I never really enjoyed like feeding or evolving the mag. I did the 3 urgent missions, so when the game launches, I'll have a Dreamcast mag, and that's probably where I'll keep it.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah,
I got that too, hopefully. Because I did all. Oh, that was the other. Did you do the final urgent mission before the servers were originally supposed to shut down?
No.
So that led into 2 different fights, which was pretty awesome. It was different from how the other ones had gone, where you are dropped on top of a ship and you're supposed to be fighting these hand-looking things. And once you defeat them, you're done with that mission. But then the next urgent mission happened. Like this was from like 8 o'clock to 8:30, or no, from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. And then there was another urgent mission immediately at 9 o'clock till 9:30.
Oh, okay.
And it was basically a continuation of, okay, so you've beaten this portion of the final boss, the quote unquote final boss for this beta. Here's the other half of that final boss, and then you got to fight this massive stone golem looking thing with like 9 different arms at once.
Wow. Don't talk to Boston about stone golems.
But I mean, it was a pretty sweet fight, and you couldn't, like all these other ones you could do multiple times. This one, as soon as you did it, you were done. You couldn't do it again. Which kind of
kind of like a limited time event, like a limited attempts event, like targets, elusive targets, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I think for this one they just did it that way because it was supposed to close out the beta. Or not the beta. Yeah, the closed beta. It was supposed to close it out.
And they're really doing like focused stress testing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was why this one, out of all the other ones, you couldn't do more than once, because the other ones I would just grind them out because you would get okay equipment.
Yeah, you're getting pretty good stuff.
So, yeah, the game's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's good.
I haven't, unless it completely changes when they actually release it, I didn't really feel any of the paywall stuff. You get quite a bit of inventory between your character and your storage units.
Yep.
So I've run there's a general storage unit that you have that's got like 200 slots, and then you've got like a character one, which is 300. The regular storage with 200 slots, I've hit that a couple times, but then all I did was just go through and sell, because it was mostly just me hoarding crap because I didn't want to deal with it right then and there.
It was all like, use this sword eventually. And it's like, no, it's no good.
Well, and that's the thing where it's like it was all weapons for different classes that I wasn't playing as yet.
Yeah.
So eventually what I did was I just went through and kept all the high-end weapons for classes that I'm not playing as, and I took all the other ones and I either sold them or I broke them down or I fed them to my mag, so that way it could level up. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I said, unless they come back and they're like completely changing things from what we played in the beta, I got no problems playing this game.
Yeah, from what I understand, it was just Phantasy Star Online too. Like that's the game.
Did you see the concert in the game?
No, I think T-Bomb posted in Discord about it.
So I happened to be in the game when the concert came up, and I was in the ship doing something, and it was in the market area. And they got rid of all the Sonic trailers in that area, and it was just like this picture of this one person, Qin or something. I don't remember what her name was. But basically, everyone started crowding around this one area. I'm like, screw it, I'm already here. It's going to happen in 5 minutes. I'll just kind of watch. And then all of a sudden, this like stage just shows up. The lights go down, and all of a sudden, like the idol shows up and starts doing an actual song. And you can hit B and change the camera so it's a more cinematic camera.
Oh, wow.
So you're sitting there watching people like jumping up and down while this person's trying to sing and stuff. And then all of a sudden, they start to like everyone's jumping in waves. So like the first group of people start to jump, and then everyone else starts to jump. It's weird that everyone got way into it, and I'm just sitting there watching this thing. Like I can't tell if this is proper waste of my time or
I can't tell if it's cool or it's dumb or both.
Yeah, I was kind of just there to experience it, and I experienced something all right. But it was pretty cool. I remember reading that if everybody shout encore after the first song, they would then do a second song. So once the first song ended, everyone went freaking nuts with yelling encore in the chat, which then she came back out and did another song. So that was pretty cool. But they also have a ball in that same area with goals that you can hit.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, it's
MMO soccer is something special based off purely Destiny alone.
Yep.
I think it was Destiny 1 had the big purple ball in it.
Destiny 2 has another purple ball and a soccer field with an actual soccer ball in it.
Yeah. You got to remember, I don't know when this particular version showed up, but this game came out like 8 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty though.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my time that I put into the game. I really wanted to play more, and I was kind of sad that, I mean, technically now I can get back on. I think the beta, as of this recording, goes on until 9 o'clock PST.
Yeah,
I think it was like 5 to 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to play the game, see where it all goes.
Stay away from me with that stuff.
Yeah, once open beta starts, people should check it out. It's free.
Yeah. I don't need another one of those.
Yeah.
Well, I got pretty far into all those levels too, because there was like this one crazy one where it's like an old Japanese town that you're in. Just like randomly, you're fighting like all these spirits and stuff in there.
There's a lot of stuff in that game.
Yeah, it's just a lot of random cool stuff. But
yeah,
that's all I'd been playing. PSO took up a lot of time.
I have put a bunch more time into SaGa Scarlet Grace Ambitions. I finished the second character, Taria's playthrough. I had managed to do enough side stuff that the rating of the final boss went from hard to just normal. So to say that I walked right through that boss fight would be pretty appropriate. Nimp, I'm sad to report that the health does max out at 999, which
come on,
kind of a bummer. Yeah.
Honestly, it doesn't bother me that much until you start running into bosses that have like millions points of health, and you're like, no, this is garbage.
Right. So I started the third character, Leonard. I am now at the final boss of him because his playthrough is super short.
Short good or short bad?
Short good because it gives you the opportunity to just kind of go right there to the final boss. There's basically all of the stuff that you would do in a normal playthrough is all optional. You can go to the final boss, I think within like an hour, but you're so underleveled at that point that it's in your best interest to do a bunch of the side stuff, and you only really have to do the stuff that you're really interested in. So it's not like, let's do another fetch quest, here we go. So I've been just sort of farting around the map and doing random stuff. I think I'll be ready to kind of wrap up his story and then start on the fourth and final character, which I'm kind of excited to do. Not because I'm not enjoying the game anymore. I'm still having a lot of fun. I'm just kind of ready to see the end and kind of wrap this guy up and kind of move on to the next
You're getting that JRPG fatigue of, this is great, but I'm ready for something new.
Yeah, and it's not even fatigue yet, but like I can see the fatigue coming, and sort of like I just want to see this whole thing out through the end. But I'm still really, really enjoying it. I tried the GeForce Now, just launched this past week, so I decided to try it because they have a free tier. And I didn't know much about GeForce Now, so if anyone hasn't been paying attention like I haven't been, it's a game streaming service that NVIDIA is running. The crazy thing about it is when you install the client and you connect to it, it just boots you into a Windows machine that has Steam running. And I was just like, okay, that's interesting. And all of the games, you sign into Steam as your account, and the thing that I think is much more attractive over something like Stadia is you get to play the games that you already own. So
Okay.
you're logging into your Steam account, and if any of the supported games in that list are games you already own. So you don't have to go and rebuy anything, you don't have to subscribe to anything. It's just, hey, here you go, stream your games.
So when you log into this Windows machine that has Steam running, does it literally just have every single game that can possibly run on it already installed to it?
Under your account.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically it's just a giant list of games. They don't support every game. Not yet, at least. But like I had a couple hundred games under there. You click on a game, you click install. It takes less than a second to quote unquote install. You click the play button and it just fires the game up. I tested some on the free service, so you can only play an hour at a time. The $5 a month version, the only difference with the $5 a month version is I don't remember if there is a limit or it's like a 5 hour at a time limit, and then you can just kind of get right back in. And the $5 a month tier, you can enable RTX on games. I didn't do that because I don't think I have any games that support RTX in my library right now. But I fired up Destiny 2, which is sort of the good litmus test of how good does this thing look.
Especially considering how much time you have in Destiny. That's the game that you are going to know if a frame is dropped. You are going to know if, something doesn't feel right or something feels a bit too squishy.
Yep. And I fired up Destiny 2, and it was running on my laptop, and it ran 1080p 60 frames with really no latency. So
that's good. Cool.
It seems good. It's not something... It's kind of unfortunate because it's not something that really meets my needs, because I'm never really in a position where I need to stream stuff. My laptop can run Destiny 2 at 1080 60. So, like, it has an okay video card in it, so it's not a necessity for me, but I mostly wanted to try it just to see if it works.
Yeah.
And so far it works. So it seems pretty promising. And I don't have to buy anything. I can just use my stupidly gigantic Steam library. So
you've been saving all those games for some reason, and now you have it.
That's right. Now I can use the cloud. I tried the early access of SourgeBringer. This is a game on Game Pass on PC. This is a game from the team that made Neurovoider. Both of these are roguelikes. And the description from the team themselves is, it's a combination of Dead Cells and Celeste. And I was like, okay, well, let's see how that is.
That's suspicious.
They're not wrong in a really weird way.
Where's the but? I'm hearing a but in that sentence.
I think it's... I don't think they're wrong, but I think it's cooler than that. Like, I think they're selling themselves a little bit short. So the art style reminds me a lot of Hyperlight Drifter. Hyperlight Drifter had, like, all those circuitry, like, circuit-based pixel art. Like, it reminds me a lot of that. And so it's a roguelike, it's a run-based thing. It's a 2D side-scrolling, dungeon-crawling sort of thing. But what I think is so cool is you have a jump, you have a double jump, you have an air dash, but when you can do like a double jump into an air dash and start slashing an enemy, but as long as you keep slashing, you don't drop. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, you slashed 3 times and we're dropping you so you can go do something else. You can just keep going. And the part that hooked me so much is you can dash to an enemy, slash them a whole bunch of times until they're dead, dash to another one, do the same thing, like dash to another one, do a heavy attack to stop them from attacking, and dash to another enemy. So you're doing all this stuff in the air and you haven't hit the ground in probably like 30, 40 seconds. Next thing you know, the whole room is dead and you can land for the first time. And that feels really, really, really good, and it looks really cool. The only problem I'm having with the game, it is early access, is I was able to get to the boss of the first floor or whatever, and most of the time, if an enemy isn't staggered by your weak attacks, you have to do a couple strong attacks to daze them. Every time I would do that on the boss, my character would just disappear. And it's just one of those things, just like, oh, I'm slashing, and then poof, and they're just gone. So I wanted to play more of this because it was really clicking with me, but I kept running into this really weird early access bug that I'm hoping other people aren't running into. So next time it gets a patch, I'll dive into it. But so far it seems really cool, and every time you die, you get sent back to this. It's not really a hub area. It's like a run beginning area, and there's a full upgrade tree to upgrade, and it doesn't seem like it's not like significant unlocks like something like Isaac would have. It's more like, now you have more defense, now you dash farther, now you have invincibility during your dash, 25% health. You know, it's base character upgrades rather than now you unlocked a shotgun and stuff like that. So that's SourgeBringer, all one word, no space in between. It's in early access on PC, and it seems really great. One of those games where I am looking at it and sort of saying, like, boy, I hope Neurovoider comes up on We Roguelike It soon, because this seems like
you want
a
to
really
play the
great
prequel.
game. Yeah, I want to play, like, we have this unofficial rule on We Roguelike It that we don't really play early access games because they're just in such flux, and we sort of found that out the hard way with The Legend of Bumbo, that some released games are a little bit in flux too, especially since we rank them. That gets a little bit difficult. So thumbs up for SourgeBringer. That seems cool. While I was on my Xbox One and installing Phantasy Star Online 2, I thought, let me check out some of the games that I've downloaded via Game Pass, and let's see how they are. So I fired
Is Descenders on this list? Descenders better be on this list.
No, I have that installed on my PC in the hopes that, one, it will run better, two, it will function. But I have played Demon's Tilt.
Yes. Talk to me about them sweet Golden Axe musics.
Demon's Tilt is super cool and super metal, which I think is two great selling points for me. And yes, the soundtrack is really good. I think the thing that I was really impressed by with Demon's Tilt is there's a lot going on the screen. There are 3 levels to this pinball table, and there's, like Moon said, there are times where it's just a bullet hell shooter, and your ball is getting teleported, and there's just stuff flying. There's a snake at the top for some reason. Like, there's just so much stuff. But I think they figured out a really smart way. When your ball is going to teleport from one place to another, typically that's really disorienting. But they figured out a really smart way of, like, these closing circles that are going to show you where your ball is going to land. And I think
it's like the magic effect that they use because they do the trail and they show you the trail of the magic, and then basically this is where it's going to land. Put all your attention right here. Right,
this is where the ball is going to go. And I think that's really smart, and I think that makes the game feel a lot more fair, other than, like, how did I just get up there? Why am I dead now? Like, what just happened? It really early on, the game tells you very clearly, this is where the ball is going to go. Get ready. In like half of a second, it's going to be up there.
Did you play normal mode or EX mode?
I just played normal mode. I didn't play a whole ton. I did get multi-ball once, which was very confusing.
Because you'll end up with one ball on the top field and one ball on the bottom field.
Yeah, and like the camera doesn't know what to do
all the way out.
Yeah, like and I don't blame it. That's a hard problem to solve. But Demon's Tilt is really great, and it's not a game I'm gonna put a lot of time into in one sitting, but it's a game that I'm going to leave installed on my Xbox just for like, yeah, I can play, maybe like half an hour as a Demon's Tilt. I can play that. Play that, play a couple of games, and then kind of go about my way. It's great. And it's on Game Pass. It's one of those things where it's like, just give it a shot. It's not super complicated. It doesn't have a ton of content. You could kind of see what it is within the first 5 minutes, and if it clicks with you, cool. And if it doesn't, then
no big deal.
Yeah, you haven't really spent too much time. Moving on to my second last thing, Untitled Goose Game. Finally cracking that guy open, honk. I finished the first 2 areas.
Did you play this in front of your little one?
100%. She loved it.
Good.
her first answer, as soon as she saw it, I started honking. She's like, "It's a goose," and then immediately got frantically worried. And she does this thing where she like taps her fingers together when she's anxious. So she's doing this little thing where she's like, "The goose is lost. We need to bring him home." And I was like, "No, I'm playing as a goose." She goes, "The goose is lost. You need to help him home." And it's like, "Oh, okay. I didn't know that was the narrative of the game. I apologize."
You just tell her you're getting the boot so that I can go home.
Well, I was trying to tell her like I'm helping the goose home, and she goes, "Oh, okay, cool." And I was like, "Okay, I guess that makes everything all right." So I finished the first 2 areas, the first area with the farmer, and then the second area where you're tripping the nerd and putting his face in the lake, or the puddle, nerd. Yeah. I don't have much to add about Untitled Goose Game, because I feel like that's a game that everybody else has talked about already, and I don't really have anything to add, other than I really like it, and I'm never going to play more of it. And not because it's bad, I just feel like after playing the first 2 areas, I've kind of gotten what I need out of it, where it's like I get to spread my wings, I get to go honk, and I get to put the bottle on my face.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you do the bottle, and did you do the kazoo thing, or whatever it is, the harmonica?
I don't think did I find the harmonica? I don't remember. But I definitely did the bottle, and it's like, all right, cool. Like, Untitled Goose Game is as good as people were saying it was, and it's exactly the game that I was seeing people play, and I like it, and I don't want to play more of it, because I feel like I've gotten my fill already. and I would rather cut it off now instead of being like, oh god, the 4th area, like I'm just really struggling through this thing. It's just kind of, it's the same point I get to with the Hitman games, where it's like, this is getting challenging, and I don't like it. I just want to mess around and be a jerk goose and press the honk button as much as I played the celebrate button in Yoku's Island Express, and just honk, honk,
the
honk,
stupid
honk, honk.
horn button.
Yeah, and that's all I wanted, and that's what I did, and I had a bunch of fun, and that game is good, and it's on Game Pass, so go check it out. My last game here, though, is the demo in Japan of Persona 5 Strikers.
Yeah, this comes out real soon, I think, in Japan, and I saw the name, and it immediately grabbed my attention. I was like, what's this?
Yeah, so it is billed as a Persona 5 Musou game.
Okay.
But what it actually is Persona 5 2. So I was making a joke about that the other day, and then they put out a new trailer where the Persona 5 logo comes up, and it says P52, and then the S for Strikers knocks 2 out of the logo. So it's like, okay, so I was not wrong. So, and what I mean by Persona 5 2 is you start the game, and the Phantom Thieves are doing some sort of heist. It's in Japanese, so I don't know. And then you return to town, you and Morgana return to town, and you're in the same town from Persona 5, and the same music is playing, and you're going back to LeBlanc to meet all of your school members again. And it literally picks up. It basically seems like, hey, you're back on summer vacation or whatever. Let's go back to town. Let's go hang out with the Phantom Thieves again. And the demo is about an hour long, and I played probably about a half an hour of it. And a lot of it is, let's catch back up with the Phantom Thieves after what happened in Persona 5. So, if you haven't played Persona 5 before, Persona 5 Royal comes out soon, and you might want to catch up if you're interested in Persona 5 Strikers.
See, I just figured this was going to be like a side story, like what they did with Q.
Me too.
Where it's like, if you want to play it, go ahead. It's got
it has all your
it's got its own
characters.
story.
Yeah.
But now that this is potentially, hey, this is what happened after he goes home. It's like, I want to know.
Yeah, it's and I thought it was a Switch only game originally, but it's coming out on Switch and PS4, so that makes me much more interested. Because not like I don't want to play it on Switch, but I would like to play it on my Pro.
Time to look at pre-orders.
Let me hit up Amazon. And the Musou stuff seemed really great when I was playing it. You have your persona, and you just hit the R button, and a list of skills comes up, and it will show which skills you can use against enemies and which ones are weak. It has the same, UI design and the same typography that Persona 5 does. Arsene came out and he did all of the normal stuff he's doing. You're fighting against, pixies and all the regular demons from Persona 5, and it just seems really good. I wasn't super interested in it maybe about a week ago, and the combination of it being Persona 5 2 and it being a really fun Musou game has sort of pushed me towards the pre-order page as well.
Yeah. So I mean, talking about games that just randomly came out of the blue, that whatever game it was that Musum tweeted this week the trailer for.
Yeah, I don't remember what game that was, but it's like, oh boy, that's great. This is...
I didn't think I cared, and now I do.
On break, I'll pull up the name so we can talk about it at the beginning of the next segment. But yeah, Persona 5 Strikers, I thought it was going to be a level-based Musou game where it's like, you finished level 1, now go to level 2. And it's like, nope, we got 45 minutes of fully voice-acted and animated story. Let's go. Then level 2.
It's basically a Persona game, just a different battle system.
100%. Yep. Yeah, and that I am way into it. Persona 5 is not my favorite Persona game, but Persona 5 is really, really great. And getting more of it seems like a really good deal.
What is your favorite Persona game?
4, hands down. For me, it's 4, then 3, then 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I played most of 4.
Yeah, 4 is really good.
Yeah.
I think 4 is, for me, more consistent in pretty much everything than Persona 5 is. Persona 5 has a lot of ups and downs, but getting more of it and sort of on the heels of Persona 5 Royal coming out is it's really great. We were making a joke on Pup about Persona 5 Royal because someone was sort of talking some yang about it on the internet, and they're like, I don't know why they're releasing like a full-blown version. It's probably only going to add like 40 or 50 hours of story. Just like, Jesus, dude. And we
Just
talked
like how the
about
golden version only had that extra 30 to 40 hours of content at the end
exactly.
there.
And like we talked about it a lot on Pup about we really wish that there was an option for us to bring our save over or have some sort of like loyalty save carrying over or something. And we understand why they're patching a lot of story gaps in Persona 5 with Royal. So it makes sense that they really want you to start from the beginning. But I spent 110 hours on Persona 5, so I don't want to do it again.
That's the thing. There was some dungeons in that game that I do not want to play again.
Yeah, the ship one especially sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks. Yeah, there's some stuff in that game that is real not great. But yet, Mina immediately puts the ship Jesus in chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're just rough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, but Persona 5 Strikers seems really good, so I'm probably gonna pre-order that for whenever that comes out this year.
Mina in chat actually makes a good point. Like, she's been joking that Persona Strikers is the next step in evolving the series into more action style RPG. I want to see that more often. I want to see, like, Yakuza is a good example. They wrung that thing so dry, and then the new Yakuza game is a JRPG.
Yeah, here's
yes,
turn-based
please.
JRPG. Yeah,
just keep that stuff up. Like, next game, make it into a racing game. The game after that, turn it into a kart racer. You know.
Yep. Now it's a first-person shooter again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, but that's all I've been playing this week. So let's take a break.
Yep.
You pull up this game that Musim was mentioning. I'm a little concerned about this game that he mentioned because 3D Realms is publishing it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a little bit of a bummer.
Now, if you don't mind me, I've got to get my sneakers on
Okay.
and go to the bathroom.
Okay.
That was sneaker slippers, by the way.
Sneaker slippers, yeah. Let's find... here it is. There we go. It's called Ghost Runner. All one word. Mirror's Edge plus Ninja Gaiden plus Dishonored equals Ghost Runner.
Did you guys talk about that on Pub?
The Ghost Runner?
Yeah.
No.
I swear I heard somebody bring it up recently, and I couldn't remember if maybe it was him or maybe I just heard someone.
Yeah, the trailer just came out 3 days ago, so I don't know if this is like the first time they're showing it or if they've shown it before, but it looks real good.
You know what else looks real good? Is I am watching the demo video for Persona Scramble.
Mm-hmm.
And god damn, does that look awesome.
Is it the PS4 or the Switch one?
The Switch one.
Okay. So I have seen screenshots and little GIFs from the PS4 one, and that looks really good. Like, it looks and runs really nicely on Switch, but like...
It's the simple fact that they're keeping like all the bubbles and stuff in the game too, and it's all very fluid.
Yeah, it looks really... Mina in chat says it looks amazing for Musou. It really does. Like, Musou games typically look okay, but this has nailed that style that's so important to the Persona games, the modern Persona games. It looks fun.
I hope they add new music, because I like.
There's a bunch of new music, yeah.
Okay.
Even in the demo.
I like the jazz music that they had in 5.
Yeah, I mean, like, even... Like, you start the game and there's an animated cutscene at the beginning, and like you get a little bit of new music during the fight, and then like as soon as they dump you back in the town, it's playing was it Beneath the Mask? Like that the Persona 5 song. Yeah, and it's just like, all right, yeah, I'm back in Persona 5, all right.
I've got them all on my phone, don't worry.
Yeah, that soundtrack is so good. Yeah, Mina in chat says new and remixed. So yeah, there's a bunch of...
Sweet.
It's I wasn't expecting to care about this game, and now I need to play it.
If it wasn't for the fact that you said that it continues on the story, like I said, I just would be like, it's just
it's a side story,
whatever.
Yeah. Persona 5 Scramble. Not available for pre-order yet.
Yeah, not yet. I can import the Japanese version for $105.
Oh, perfect. What a steal.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take 2.
With absolutely no English in it whatsoever so far.
I bet the Asian version will have English. Those typically do, but that's only going to be like $75 as opposed to $60. I'm very happy it's coming out on PS4 as well, because that game looks really good.
The intro looks like the intro from the first game. I don't know what's going on, but I just watched Morgana run into a sign face for her. Yep.
Morgana's Japanese voice is really great. I also like that as soon as you're walking around town, you can zoom in, and Morgana's his head is just peeking out of the bag on your back.
Nice.
It's really great. Oh, man. Okay. Are you guys ready to finish this up? I am not.
Yes.
Now that I asked that question, because I forgot to get questions from Discord.
Shocker.
There's only a handful.
Yeah. Big props to T-Bomb Rocks for always sending in questions. Oh, and there's even some new ones. Crap. Oh boy, there's a lot of them. Okay.
That's what I was saying. There's only a handful.
Thank goodness I remembered. Tab. Okay, let's close Discord. Okay, now I'm ready. If you peeps are. Moon is shaking his head no. Nip is watching a gameplay demo.
I'm just trying to think about how 2020, maybe 2021 is going to be real heavy with JRPGs again.
This year is really rough for JRPGs.
And with PSO2 eventually coming out.
Yeah, man.
I'm on borrowed time right now.
I'm probably not going to put a ton of time in PSO2, but like I'm glad that's free. So whenever I want to play something different for like a Saturday afternoon, I can hop in PSO2, kill some rag rappies.
I think I'm going to go hardcore with it for a bit just so I can get to the end content and then just kind of wean myself off of that so I can keep up with everything that's actually coming out.
I like how you say that now, like you have a plan. And it's like, in a couple months, you're like, I'm raiding.
Exactly. What games? Yeah, it's going to be like every time for a while there where it's like everything you talked about was Destiny 2. For me, it's going to be Phantasy Star Online 2.
Yep.
What did you do? Oh, the same thing as last week. But let me tell you how it was slightly different from last week.
Let me tell you about the drops I got. Yeah.
Well, we've all got our game of choice for that. We got PSO2, Destiny 2, and Dead by Daylight.
For me, it's either Destiny 2 or Fortnite. Like, I switch between the two of them. Basically, when one is winding down, the other one is winding up. So I can kind of trade one problem for another.
So you literally have your math on, like, rotation so you don't get too addicted to one.
That's right.
What I'm finding out is I didn't have a games for service game until they turned a JRPG into one.
Right, and then you're like, oh no, my weakness.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Before we get to releases, let's talk about the game we were talking about at the end of last section. I just looked it up. It's called Ghost Runner. The Team Pixel Prospector sells it as Cyberpunk plus Mirror's Edge plus Ninja Gaiden plus Dishonored equals Ghost Runner. It looks
Cyberpunk.
Super cool. Yep, that's my DJ name, DJ Cyberpunk. Let's talk about releases for the week
or a futuristic pachinko machine.
That's right. U.S. releases for the week of February 10th, 2020. Yakuza 5 comes out on PS4. This is so to recap the Yakuza Remaster Trilogy. This is Yakuza 5 is available digitally. The Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 physical triple pack is also coming out this week. It comes with all 3 of those games on 2 discs, and it comes with like a fancy, cool box and all that stuff, and the physical box of Yakuza 5 for the PS3. So, if you are like me and you have all of the other ones in boxes, Yakuza 5 never came out physically here before, so this has the proper final box. It sort of slide right in there in the collection. So, go play Yakuza. Again, if you haven't played Yakuza before, start with 0.
Start with 0.
Yeah, and it's like $5 on PC now for 500 hours of content. Daemon X Machina comes out on PC on Steam on sort of a surprise sale. This was a Switch
exclusive?
Yeah, until it's now coming out on PC and could support like 4K 200 frames a second. So
bye-bye Musum is what you're saying.
Yeah, it looks really good. And bye-bye me, because Darksiders Genesis is coming out on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. From everything I've read with reviews, apparently it's pretty good. So that's all I need for a Diablo-style game, so I guess I gotta buy that too. And I like Darksiders. So Coming out of early access, I think, in full release, is Dreams on the PS4.
You think?
One of the worst marketed things in a really long time. I still don't know what the state of this game is or how much it's going to cost. Or, I mean, I know what it is. It's a game where you make games. But what? So, Dreams is coming out in some form at some point this week on PS4. So, enjoy. Finally coming to the US, Snack World, The Dungeon Crawl Gold comes out on the Switch. This is Level 5, one of their newer series.
That rings a bell.
What's that?
That rings a bell. Level 5, that rings a bell.
Ni no Kuni.
Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Ni no Kuni and Yokai Watch, which was going to be their next franchise until it stopped selling. Which is
Didn't
really
Yokai Watch
weird.
do really good?
Yeah, Yokai Watch was doing really well until it just wasn't. For
Disappeared.
some really weird reason. But Snack World is supposed to be really great. This came out quite a while ago, and it was sort of assumed it was never going to come out over here. But I heard it's pretty fun. I heard it's a good time. Street Fighter V Champion Edition comes out on PC and PS4, and I think Xbox One as well. I think it's DLC, so I think it comes out on everything.
Did you say Street Fighter V?
Yes.
Sony co-published it. It's not coming to Xbox.
Okay.
That's the Street Fighter that would have never got made if Sony didn't plunk down some money for it.
Right. I forgot about that. Street Fighter V is like a real blind spot for me because I didn't enjoy I didn't enjoy Street Fighter 4. Apparently the Street Fighter V Defense Force has piped up back there.
Yep.
So I never really paid attention to Street Fighter V, so I'm not your...
It wasn't as good as 4, from what I understand.
I really won't enjoy it.
It wasn't as good as 4. It had a really bad launch, and it had a real bad bunch of microtransactions and stuff in there.
Yeah, that's right. Fight points. I forgot about that. Yeah, which I know they eventually pulled back from. But T-Bomb Rocks gifted me a copy of this on PC a little bit ago, so I've meant to try it out. I'm not in a super fighting game mood right now, so... And if I was, like, a new Guilty Gear is right around the corner, and the Grand Blue Fantasy just came out, so...
I'm sure there's a Persona fighting game around the corner, too.
Probably. Persona 5 Strikers. Next up, Glass Masquerade 2 Illusions comes out on PS4, Switch, and the Xbox One. It's a game that apparently myself and Late Elf on Twitter are the only ones that are really excited about, but it's coming out this week, and it looks really great. It's another puzzle game, like a legitimate puzzle game, and it just... The first one was great, and I can't wait to play this one. And lastly, Florence comes out on Switch, PC, and OS X. This is the relatively short story-focused mobile game that we played on Game Club last year, and we really enjoyed.
Yep.
So I have no idea how much it's going to cost. On mobile, it was less than $5, if I remember correctly.
I think it was like $3.99.
Yeah, it was pretty cheap. And it's a great time. That's a really good game. Also very curious to see how it's going to work without touchscreen on
well,
PC.
it's on the Switch, so the Switch can do it.
Yeah, but make do with a mouse, I guess. Play Florence. It's really great. And it's only like 2 hours long. So
yeah.
All right, let's move on to news stories. Phil Spencer had an interview with a new publication called Protocol this week, where they asked him who he sees as as Xbox's main competitors now, and he said Amazon and Google. I know a lot of people have been pooping their diapers over this week for really no reason.
No reason.
The internet. I think this is really interesting because I think this very much shows the Xbox division trying to diversify themselves past just here's a disc in Walmart and you stick it in your Xbox. It is the all digital Xbox One. It's xCloud. It's all this stuff that they're trying to do where they're saying obviously Sony is still a competitor to theirs of here's a set-top box we sell you in your house and you're an early adopter. But if they want to compete with something like GeForce Now and Stadia, which they will probably just crush day one, is they have the real strength of xCloud, which already works in beta really well, combined with Game Pass, which feels like you're legally stealing games.
It kind of does, yes.
The combination of those two, where it's like just pull out your phone, sync a Bluetooth Xbox controller to it, and then start streaming hundreds of games all at the same time. That seems like a really tough product to beat. And on that standpoint, yeah, obviously their next big competitor is, they know how to fight Sony, and Nintendo's not even in the race. That's a separate race they're running. But now they have to try and beat Amazon and Google. And I think it's really interesting that he's coming out front saying, like, this is the next battlefield we're on. Like, this is the place that we're going. Obviously, we're still going to sell you the giant computer that sits under your TV, but we also have these other services that are really important to the Xbox division.
I hate to say this, but Sony isn't a megacore. Like, the end of the day, like, if you took Sony and the entirety of Sony as a whole and plunked that next to the Xbox division, they're probably about the same size. But Sony isn't Microsoft. Sony isn't Apple. Sony isn't Google. Sony isn't Amazon. Sony isn't literally one of the most profitable companies on the planet. These are huge corporations that will be responsible for the downfall of humanity in the future. Sony ain't in that fight.
Well, and I think most importantly, from Sony's standpoint, 3 of those companies that you mentioned, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, all 3 of them have incredibly robust, very mature cloud platforms. And Sony smartly has signed up with Azure to run whatever their cloud backend is going to be for whatever projects they're working on. Because people need to remember, the cloud platforms are for more than just xCloud and like game streaming. It's for services and authentication. Like, any server-based thing you're going to run can run on a cloud-based platform. So it's really interesting that the Xbox division is really focusing on, here are our direct competitors for cloud-based platforms. And like they said, like, they have pumped billions and billions of dollars into getting Azure up and running and to get it to be a real competitor. And Sony doesn't have any cloud platform of their own.
I mean, hell, Azure is responsible for the, I believe they won the Department of Defense contract.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so
they beat out Amazon to get that contract.
Right. Yeah, so it's interesting, and it's nice. It is always nice to hear Spence. My buddy Spence.
Yeah.
We're friends.
Okay.
I always like hearing him talking when someone just gives him the floor, because he will say a lot of really fascinating stuff without a lot of PR fluff. And
he tends to, as much as I hate to admit this, he also probably tends to say too much from a PR perspective.
Yeah, PR is behind him like, shut up, dude, Phil. Please stop.
I think he sticks his toes over those lines, but he never just blatantly strides over and is like, screw you, PR.
Right.
Like,
we're doing away with discs. And it's just like, no, Phil, no. Momonga, no.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's really interesting because it's nice to hear him say, it's nice for someone, I feel like this is what Reggie used to do for Nintendo a lot of times, where it's just like, I'm going to come out, I'm going to talk some real stuff. And Spencer does a lot of that, and we don't see a lot of that from the other companies. Probably for the worse. Next news story here, Rod Ferguson, who's been working on Gears of War since Gears of War started to be a thing, has left the Coalition.
I'm sad to see him go, to be honest, because Like, he did Gears of War. He left Epic, and then when Microsoft bought the Gears of War rights and they built the Coalition, they rehired Rod Ferguson to come and run the Coalition.
Yeah, and he sort of has a history of being a fixer. Like, he's the dude you hire to ship a game. Like, he's the one that really brought BioShock Infinite over the finish line after multiple false starts.
Only closers get bonuses.
That's right. A side note, Gears Tactics comes out on April 28th, which I'm really excited about, and I totally forgot about that. But he has been hired on to join Blizzard and in his words, oversee the Diablo franchise.
There's a lot of zeros on that paycheck. There has to be.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting because I feel like you hire a dude like Rod Ferguson when you want to ship a thing. And Diablo 4 externally seems like it's in its early stages and it's sort of clipping along nicely. But being a modern Blizzard game, it's probably in a whole bunch of trouble and just needs someone to say, your team does this by this date, your team does this by this date, and sort of go down the line and say, we have to ship this thing, here's a date, let's get to work. So that is really interesting. I think if there is someone to come into the Diablo franchise's marketing needs some help. And I think bringing someone in like this is the shot that needs, where it's like, all right, we got a serious dude in here doing some work. So
I love it when someone with his rep moves to a different company, because then you learn, number one, he's kind of sorted out the company he's at, and then you also learn what company is in kind of big trouble that they don't want to actually talk about.
Right. Yeah, it's always like, we hired Rod Ferguson. Wink.
Yep.
Please send help.
It's the same guy from GTA who got GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 shipped, and then left Rockstar, and he's currently in a lawsuit with them, I believe, still.
Yeah, whatever that guy's name is, I don't remember.
Yeah, he was the same. Like, he was known as the closer, and they brought him in to close those games out.
Yeah. Next news story here, the Wonderful 101 Remastered is on Kickstarter. Platinum Games has launched a Kickstarter for a remaster on... It was originally just going to be Switch, and now it's raised $1.52 million, so it's also going to be on PS4 and Steam for the moment. Maybe Xbox One is a further stretch goal.
I don't know. Weren't they originally just asking for like $58,000?
Yeah, it was $49,000. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, something like that. And yeah, by what, the end of the week, they're already in the millions.
Yeah, I mean they got funded in like 30 minutes or so. Like, it was, and it's one of those Kickstarters where it's like, I mostly want to have a PSA here on the show for, if you want a physical copy of it, you can get one through the Kickstarter for like $45 or $50. But this is one of those Kickstarters that is very much, we need a financing group to see that a lot of people are interested in it, to give us the $5 million that they're not sure would be a great investment.
It's a proof of life Kickstarter for an IP.
100%. Yeah. It's like, hey, we don't think anyone's still interested in the Wonderful 101, and Platinum Games now just gets to slap this on the table and be like, $2 million. Well,
yep.
That's a lot of people that are already gonna get the game.
Meanwhile, somebody is still making a Bubsy game somewhere.
So some dark basement, someone's still making a Bubsy game.
Dude, there's very few things in life: death, taxes, don't trust anyone. Bubsy game is getting made somewhere. They're the four truths of life.
That's right. The universe just spawns a new Bubsy game if it's been too long. All right, let's talk about our last news story here. Speaking of someone leaving the Rockstar Games house, Dan Houser is leaving Rockstar.
Is that the guy we were thinking of? No, he's one of the Houser is one of the yeah,
the two Houser brothers, Dan and Sam. Same. They've founded Rockstar 20-something years ago. Dan Houser has been on sort of a hiatus for a little bit over a year. And there's sort of a document that came out here a little bit ago that says, yo, his last day is March 11th. And he'll no longer be with the company. This is probably not the largest news story this week, but I think this is one that scuttlebutt on the streets has been that the last couple of years have been really good to Rockstar internally. I don't know if you guys remember that like Rockstar spouses thing, probably 10 years ago, where it's like, hey, Rockstar is killing the people that are working for them, allegedly.
Yeah, it came out at the same time because it was the EA wives that then basically brought everybody out the woodwork.
Rockstar spouses or something, yeah. I guess over the last 5 years or so, people are saying that, hey, Rockstar has gotten way better about their lessening crunch and work-life balance and stuff like that. And I wonder how much of this is them continuing in that direction of, hey, we need to make our culture a lot better. And this is the dude that came out and said, and we've been working 100-hour weeks to try and get Red Dead Redemption 2 done.
Yep.
I wonder if fallout from that.
This is the guy they've been silently trying to buy out. That way he stops being an issue.
How about if I put another 0 on the end of this check? Does that do it for you? Yeah. So this will be really interesting. I don't know if this is going to be like a huge shift in how Rockstar does stuff. I think largely because Sam Houser is still there. But I think it's one of those things where it's like, all right, this is a fairly major shake-up in how a company will probably run day to day. It'd be like if who runs Activision?
Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, like if Bobby Kotick leaves Activision, it's like, all right, this will be a significant change in how a company operates itself. But not yet. Bobby Kotick's still there.
Yeah.
So not a throne of skulls. All right, let's move on to questions. Monkey Senior sends one from Discord. Been playing Atelier Ryza. Congratulations. And I keep thinking about the title as Atelier Ryza Revengeance. What are some fun titles that you mix up in your head? He also says, realize the reverse mix would be Metal Gear Rising, Ever Darkness, and The Secret Hideout.
Jeez.
Which is really good. When I was in high school, our lockers were by last name alphabetically. So I was next to this guy, Todd, and he was like discovering a love of video games as the PS1 was gaining popularity. And he really, really loved the first Resident Evil game, as we all did when it came out. But he could not stop calling it Residential Evil, because like his brain could not, and he was like this big teddy bear of it. I think he became a firefighter. He's a really great dude. But like every day he'd be like, God, I got a couple more rooms in on Residential Evil, and it's just like, you gotta play that Residential Evil, dude. And it's like,
it's a brand new game where the zoning commission comes back to life and then haunts your dreams.
These zombies really care about zoning laws. That's just always tickled me, because I feel like once Resident Evil 1 and 2 came out, like you never really saw people making that mistake. It was just, oh, here's Resident Evil, but for a little bit of time there.
Res 1, Res 2, Res 3, right. Res 4.
RE1, RE0. Yeah.
For me, it's all the deads. All of the deads. I completely mess up the deads. Dead by Daylight, Dead Rising,
Dead Cells.
Dying Light, Dead Cells. It's like I keep talking about these games.
Dead Island? It's a whole island.
It's just like all the time I mess them up. It's like, oh yeah, it's Dead by Friday. Nope, that's the wrong Dead.
Yeah.
It's a different Dead is the one I need to load.
Yeah.
Trying to think. The only ones, like just when I'm goofing around at home, I'll come up with like inappropriate titles for video games, but I don't.
Non-podcast appropriate titles.
That's what Twitter is for too.
Right.
I just keep them to myself. They're
Not family friendly. It's like me singing the theme song to my kids' shows in my head, which is like, this would be funny with swear words. And I'm like, yeah,
exactly.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I repeat to my wife, and then I get a weird look from her. I'm
right.
like,
She's like, what word did you put in the Paw Patrol song? What's wrong with you? They're just trying to save the bay. Jesus. They're children.
Yeah.
Ryder would never say that. T-Bomb Rocks has a couple of questions for us here. He says, not a perfect beta launch, but overall PSO2 is living up to my long-awaited expectations. Seems like Phil and the team at Xbox made a good call finally getting a port to the US. What are some other games that have been stuck in limbo that you would like to see Xbox push to come stateside? I think that's probably one of the things that I think Microsoft will win out on the end is, hey, we brought Phantasy Star Online 2.
Mina in the chat just pointed out a really, really good confusion one.
Panzer Dragoon Orta, Y Dragoon, I kept calling it Dragon. That's true. That's Mechanical Beak in chat.
I did the same thing. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I think Microsoft has gotten a lot of goodwill for saying, like, hey, here's this game you guys have always wanted, and like, yeah, you can play it on PC with like a translation patch, and it's not great, but here it's on your Xbox, it's coming to Steam, it'll be on the Xbox app on PC eventually, like, it'll probably come to PS4 and Switch, like, they're gonna want to put it on everything eventually, and it's free, so not gonna charge you.
Yeah,
mine honestly would just be the Crossbell sagas out of Cold Steel, or the Trials of. They already are remastering them or re-releasing them in Japan, which people are hopeful that means they're going to come westward then. But
that series is doing surprisingly well over here.
Yeah, and I don't care if that's on Xbox or PlayStation or Switch, whatever, as long as it gets over here.
Yeah, Falcom has been doing. It's one of those things where it's like Falcom has been doing really well ever since they realized they could put Japanese games on a PC, and the West suddenly cares about them. It's sort of like, people are buying our games like crazy. People are buying Ys 8 on the PC. We never would have guessed. It's like,
it doesn't help that they're such a small company to begin with. Small. So
they do a lot with very little. Falcom's a cool company. They've been around for like 75 years.
It's the Monster Hunter problem. It's like you literally don't realize how big this. For those in the know, Monster Hunter was always one of the biggest games on the planet, thanks to Japan.
Yep, PSP made it a huge hit.
Like, thanks to Japan, like, that game was one of Capcom's biggest IPs.
Yep.
That never did well over here.
Yeah.
And then you tweak it a little bit, you put it on every platform, and look, you have literally your best-selling game that you have ever made.
Yeah, of Capcom's history, it's their best-selling game. Weird. What happens when you put games on multiple platforms.
But some would argue that for it to be that popular, they had to tweak it in such a way that it's way different from what made it popular in Japan. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
because if you compare it to Try, which was like the last big Monster Hunter that was on PSP.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's not completely different, but there's a lot of better quality of life stuff in there that you don't have to deal with, which is why a lot of the, I guess, Japanese audience really enjoyed about that game.
And I think people have a hard time, as we've seen with Pokemon last year, they tend to have a hard time with a series evolving as opposed to being the same thing time after time. These things have to evolve. At the very least, to get new audiences, if not to keep things fresh.
Yeah, I give you the Tony Hawk franchise, the Guitar Hero franchise, the Call of Duty franchise. Like, Call of Duty only now is kind of at the point where it changes just enough to keep it fresh.
Right.
For like 6 years, that thing was the same game basically time and time and time again.
360's life cycle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me about the numbers. Look at Yakuza. When they announced the battle system that they were going to be putting in the new Yakuza game, everyone flipped. Everyone was like, "Oh my! How dare you do this to my Yakuza?"
And I like that a lot of hardcore fans are like, "Oh, finally, Okay, let's do something different.
But then they give you that trailer of the first summon in the game, and it's like he uses his cell phone and calls lobsters. Yeah. Okay, we're all back in again.
Have you seen the Majima summon, by the way?
No,
I have. That makes me really happy.
It's really great. It's exactly what you would want it to be. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's everything you would want. It's great. I'm trying to think of any other. I feel like PSO2 for the longest time was like, SaGa, you could just bring it over. Like it could do so well. I feel like that was
Jeff Gassman has been chasing that dragon for about 6 years.
Yeah. And I feel like that was
literally all they had to do was just release it on PC so that Western audience could get to it. Yeah. That's all they had to do.
And it was always so baffling because PSO was so huge over here on Dreamcast and to a lesser degree on GameCube, but like it was so big over here. And for them to be like, Phantasy Star Online 2, like we did a couple of episodes and we did the card thing that we don't talk about anymore, but here's a second real one. It's never coming out in the U.S. It's just like, why would you do that? Yeah. What have we done?
Meanwhile, we've completely translated the game, so it's in English, but the Western audience is still not getting it.
It's just, it's so crazy. And I can't think of another. This is such a great question that T-Bomb asked us, but I can't think of another game like that where it's like, God, I just wish that we would get that, because we're even getting like third tier B and C level JRPGs out now. Like Utawari Ramono, that's a series that shouldn't come out over here. Nevertheless, with its original title intact, because it's a strategy RPG virtual novel series that has virtually no market here except for 2 of the 3 of us on this show. And like for the fact that it's coming out here is incredible.
Yeah.
I've got the Prologue to Forefathers already pre-ordered and waiting for that to come out. I've had it pre-ordered since June.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
I'm that person.
Yeah, there's for better or for worse, there's so much stuff coming out here now, and I think that's pretty incredible.
And since you brought it up, Aqua's already talked about how they're going to be doing more releases of games for that series in the West.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perfect. I don't know what else they're going to do because they've only got the 3...
more side stories.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the big thing that bothers me is the exclusives. It's just like, literally, I get it. Sometimes you don't have the budget to do these kind of things if you're a very small studio. But are you telling me that the Yakuza studio couldn't afford to port those things to Xbox or the Persona studio?
Both of those studios are surprisingly small. Also,
I know they're surprisingly small.
Both SaGa studios. Weird.
Yeah, that SaGa's the worst for this. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Capcom seems to have learned their lesson, but SaGa's the worst for this.
And that's the funniest part about PSO2, where it's like it's only on Xbox One. It's like, huh?
And you know why that is. And his name is PS, and it's not me. It's Mr. Spencer.
Spency opened a large briefcase with a lot of stacks in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of another series right now that. All of my favorite series seem to be doing okay right now, which surely will never bite me. Yeah.
Nope.
Next question here. I've been trying to teach myself and my youngest daughter how to play fighting games. For her, the basics, and for me, a touch-up. Out of all recent games, Killer Instinct has an amazing tutorial that has helped transition into other fighting games. My question for you, what are some other genres that have tough onboarding, but one game or series does the best job of teaching you the basics?
Fighting games again, not Dead Rising. See, there's the Dead thing again.
Dead
or Alive 2.
Of Zombie
Dead or Alive 2 had an incredible onboarding. The tutorials in Dead or Alive 2 was amazing.
Yes.
Not frame like counting perfect, but really good like controls and basics wise.
The Arc System Works games do a lot of stuff too, where it's like, here is the combo, and the AI is going to do the thing where it's like, oh, here's a counter, and here's the AI is just going to keep doing this thing. We're going to show you what you're doing right and you're doing wrong. And that stuff's valuable.
Really bad.
I feel like roguelikes always have a really hard time onboarding because it's like death is part of the process. And it's sort of like, that's a hard thing to wrap your head around.
I mean... What does it well, though, is the problem. I think Crypt does it okay.
Crypt does it okay. The Story Begins. What was that one you really liked with the Scarecrow? The Story Goes On.
the story goes on. That's got a real solid tutorial on it too.
The Cadence of Hyrule does it really well. Because death matters less in something like that. Void Bastards.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good example.
That's also hilarious when it does it though.
Yeah. Rehydrate. What other genres? I feel like
any form of sports game.
Yeah.
Any form of sports game. I'm sorry, I don't know what the offside rule is in ice hockey. Please explain why you blew that whistle and give me the face off when I do it.
Right. Is it because I fought again? Is it because I punched a dude?
Yes, 100%.
That's all I did. The only hockey game I ever played was NHL 94 on the Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
All I ever did was fight in that stupid game.
I feel like a lot of times most mainstream JRPGs are really good about tutorializing because you can usually just kind of pick random fights out in the world until you feel comfortable with the game, or you kind of over-level yourself.
Well, and honestly, lately a lot of them are a lot more streamlined than they used to be, so it's not that hard for you to figure out what you should be doing in the battle system, especially since a lot of them are now going away from it's all more active. Like, it's an actual action game instead of it being like a full-on different battle thing. Well, I mean, you get into stuff like Xenogears where you have to hit certain button combinations and you have to, utilize your mech's fuel and all that stuff. It's like, no, man. Like, if a game came out like that today, I would know what to do. Anyone else who's played a JRPG would know, but anyone else would be like, what the hell is this?
That's why Indivisible was popular with sort of the JRPG crowd, because it's like, Valkyrie Profile's back, and everyone else is like, the what? But also, thankfully, JRPGs are a lot better about, like, oh, you didn't pick up the crown in the very first kingdom? 50 hours later, you're kind of in a real bad spot. It's like, most of them don't do that stuff anymore, unless they're like a throwback, and they're like the JRPG version of Thimbleweed Park.
There's a genre that could do with some help, and it got it with The Walking Dead.
Yep. Yeah, talk about it streamlining something like Walking Dead, Oxenfree, like a lot of Edith Finch. Go play Edith Finch, please.
Yes.
A lot of stuff where it's like, yeah, we're gonna take this genre and we're gonna kind of modernize it a little bit. We talked about Monster Hunter. I wish Monster Hunter had a little bit better onboarding.
Yes, 1,000%. I mean, just this one's better, but it's still not good enough.
I need an option in Monster Hunter saying, like, I don't know, treat me like a Monster Hunter baby. I don't know anything about this. Like, please don't assume anything.
It's the start of the new Pokemon game, where it's like, do you know about Pokemon? Yes. Cool. Off you go.
Do you know how to catch Pokemon? All right, they're over there.
Yeah. And then if you say no, you get the whole tutorial thing all over again.
Well, I was going to say something that's kind of in the same vein is I wish nowadays, since everything's time-stamped, if you pick up a game that you haven't played in a year, I wish the game would be like, hey, we've noticed you haven't played in a while. Do you know what you're doing?
Yeah. Do you want a tutorial again?
Controller refreshes and story refreshes.
Yep.
Like just a little quick, like 30-second video of here's what happened. Flash, flash, flash.
That's what SaGa Scarlet Grace does really well. They have a record of deeds in the game, and it has everything you have done in the game in reverse chronological order. And the top one is, I went to this area and I did this thing. We are now going to this area. It's like, perfect. That's all I need to do.
Does it tell you why you've been hoarding clay?
No comment.
See?
I have a considerable amount of clay in my inventory right now. I don't want to talk about it. Mina in chat says, I don't understand how Earthbound created a hint guy back in the Super NES era where the basic game basically said this is where you need to go. And there are modern games now that still don't do a journal / reminder / etc. Yeah, that's playing Link's Awakening. There's a phone booth in a whole bunch of areas of the game, and the guy is just like, oh, hey, you're here? Go to this area and go do this thing. It's like, oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. I was saying, because in Atelier, playing that right now, like, it gives you a whole journal entry about, hey, this is what's happened in this quest line that you just finished.
Nice.
This is where you need to go now, or hey, you need to wait a day to go here, or whatever.
That's all.
But it's set up. It's set up in such a way that if I left it alone for a month and came back, I can read those 2 paragraphs and it's like, okay, that's what I just did. This is where I'm going.
Yeah, and for me, it's like I have a 3-year-old yelling in my face a lot of times, so it's like, cool. I just missed that entire story beat. If you could just summarize it real quick.
Yeah. Yep.
Jimbo Jangles in chat says the opening tutorials in the Portal games were pretty great. Pun kinda intended. That's what we were talking about in our pre-show, patreon.com/E1M1. We were talking about the Witness and how the Witness kind of teaches you by letting you figure the problems out. Portal felt very much like that too, where it's like, here are the buttons, here's what portals do. Figure it out.
Then you get on the 8th one and you feel very overwhelmed until you do it, and it's like, oh, that was stupid easy.
Yeah,
I'm stupid.
I knew how to do that. Yeah. All right, that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. You visit us at tvgp.tv, everywhere to find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones or numbers like we were just talking about, the uncensored behind-the-scenes early access stuff, Old Dog New Flicks. We have brand new episodes of We Rogue Like It. Just started a brand new game over there. Game Club, we are wrapping up. We got one more week, I think, of This is the Police week. 2. So go finish that chili guy up. Enjoy some
yeah, good luck.
Enjoy some jazz. I cannot finish that first one. Cannot finish this one. Man. Keeps messing me up.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I've had numerous bad days so far.
Yes. Yeah, boy, bad days in that game are real bad. So we'll talk about next Saturday. We'll talk about This is the Police 2, and we'll announce what our next game is going to be. I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
All right, Nimp, hit me with your titles.
Okay, I have a whole bunch of garbage. It's a cool story, so I cheated. I edited a save file for lunchboxes. They don't touch your totem. Farting around the map.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Cyberplunk. And my 2 favorite ones, Momonga No.
Momonga No.
I don't know if it's lack of sleep or what, but that just really got to me.
Yeah, it's too good. Mina in chat suggested that too.
Yeah. And doing the Bananas Will.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Doing the bananas. That's too many A's. Will.
Let's do the Gwen Stefani song.
Banana, no. All right, Moon, how about you?
I've got a whole bunch. I know a couple of these will be vetoed straight away, but I'm still going to say them anyway.
Okay.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Monomanga No.
Yep.
The Brainworms We Have. Fortnite or Grinder. Hence,
I want
veto.
that. I would want that one to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the Chaos Hits. The Biome It's In. Friend or Foe Test. The Disappointment Starts. Touch the Totem. Jason Justin Jameson. The 6-year-old in You. Fed My Mag. I Experienced Something. This one's too long, so it's going to veto, but this is getting challenging. I don't want to continue. Cyberplunk, Street Fighter Defense Force, Spence, Only Closers Get Bonuses, Proof of Life Kickstarter, 4 Truths of Life, and Jesus, They're Children. That's also probably a veto.
Probably. I have a whole bunch of garbage. Momonga No. Cyberplunk, Doing the Bananas Will, Friend or Foe Test, Touch the Totem, and Spence. I feel Momonga No is like my...
I mean, come on, it wasn't going to be anything else other than that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say anything though without just laughing.
I mean, laughter is the best medicine. I'm just gonna start. Momonga, no.
Yeah,
I've got something. It's garbage, but I've got it.
Okay.
I've got something too, but we'll see if I can get over laughing.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 642 for February 10th, 2020. Momonga, no!
Fly, my squirrel!
You do it on the tile, not the carpet.
All right, that was good. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.